A lot to dive into, a lot to discuss all throughout the show. Some serious topics, some not so serious topics. I wanted to share with you the latest on the votes as it pertains to whether the national anthem should be played at sporting events. Tens of thousands of you weighing in. I'll leave the poll open for, basically I try to leave these polls open for 24 hours all the time. You can go vote in it. Do you believe the national anthem should be played at sporting events? Over 80% of you say yes. 20% of you, roughly under 20%. It's 82 to 18 right now. Do those results surprise you at all, Dub?
I don't know. I guess the more I think about it, I kind of am a little bit surprised. I wasn't necessarily expecting the results to be so lopsided with over 80% on one side and less than 20% on the other because, I mean, my personal opinion, I don't really understand exactly why it's played in front of every single sporting event in America. There's 82 NBA games. There's 162 baseball games. There's a ton of soccer games. I remember they played it in high school in front of before our football games. So I just don't really get why we choose to play it ahead of sporting events and then choose not to play it ahead of, stuff like going to the movies and concerts.
I think
and
that's
stuff like that.
That's the argument. Most of the time at concerts and most of the time at movies, at entertainment events, you don't play the national anthem. And so now there are people out there listening to us right now who are serving us, and thanks for the service that you provide for us in the armed forces. They play the national anthem before every movie on military bases. I didn't know this. I had a lot of people reach out to me because we've talked about this issue before years and years ago, I guess now 4 or 5 years ago when Colin Kaepernick made this story start to emerge. I wasn't that strongly aware of how common that was, right? I just had no clue. And the analogy I used was, well, this is entertainment and we don't. And then a lot of people said, well, actually we do. And I just think the challenge is you can't make a move like this after something has become political, because basically what Mark Cuban is trying to do is dodge a controversy, right? Like people are like, oh, it's so brave of him not to play the national anthem. No, he's aware that in Texas, when fans start to come back, if his players are not standing for the national anthem, many of his fans are not going to be fans of the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, because I think I'm correct in this. All the Dallas Cowboys stand for the national anthem. And the Dallas Stars put out their own statement saying, hey, our guys we're going to continue to play the national anthem. And I don't think there's been very many hockey players who have kneeled or whatever the heck that is. And so I think it's in Dallas a challenging spot for you to be making this argument. We're not talking about New York City. We're not talking about L.A. We're talking about Dallas. And so I think Mark Cuban was aware that it was going to be bad for business, even though he won't speak to it publicly. And so this was his attempt to dodge the controversy by not playing the anthem at all. I think that's what was really going on. And instead, he has reaped a whirlwind because now it's had even more attention drawn back to it than it would have if he had never done anything in the first place.
No,
so
I totally
think that's
agree.
the
The timing of his decision is way off, especially considering what happened in the bubble over the summer.
And it was like he thought that nobody was going to notice. Like at some point when fans came back, there were going to be people like looking around like, wait a minute, because you know how it is. Like you're standing in line for a beer. You could forget that it happened. There's not hardly anybody in the stands right now. Television is going to cover it differently. But to me, the biggest takeaway here is how quickly everybody made the decision in the NBA to say, no, we're playing the national anthem. That to me means the NBA has data that reflects that their overall brand is struggling and that they're not going to allow another controversy to emerge, because all it does is reinforce the fact that the NBA won't stand up to China, but they'll stop playing national anthems. Like that goes to the very essence, I think, of what many Americans feel about the NBA now. It has nothing to do with the on-the-court product. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Go download the podcast. This is OutKick on Fox Sports Radio.